Good morning, I'm Robert O'Shaughnessy, filling in for Jake and Anna, and this is the Daily Punch, brought to you by Punchbowl News. It is Wednesday, May 27th, 2026. Here are the stories we're following today. Number 1, Cornyn loses as Paxton takes center stage. Number 2, what the NDAA says about defense hawks. And number 3, Iowa's GOP congressional hopefuls stick with Trump. Leading off Punchbowl News this morning, we're going to kick it off with Texas, where Senator John Cornyn's 24-year Senate career is over at the hands of a vengeful president and an unhappy base. With President Donald Trump backing Ken Paxton, the Texas Attorney General won the runoff by a 28-point margin. We've come a long way from 18 months ago, where Cornyn was just a few votes shy of becoming the Senate Republican leader. With Cornyn's defeat, the Senate GOP conference loses a reliable conservative able to cut deals with Democrats on major issues, including gun safety and semiconductor chip manufacturing. Senate Republicans also lose access to Cornyn's vast fundraising network in a state filled with wealthy Republican donors. Cornyn has raised more than $400 million for Senate Republicans since 2002. Now, Ken Paxton faces James Tallarico in the general election. Republicans will have to spend a lot of money to boost Paxton, whom they trashed in the primary. The only Senate GOP leader to address the Texas results so far was Majority Whip John Barrasso, who endorsed Paxton Tuesday evening. Barrasso declared Tallarico as too radical for Texas, a phrase you're going to hear quite a lot between now and Election Day. And now turning to the Democrats, Tuesday brought the first 2 Democratic incumbent losses this cycle. In Houston, Representative Al Green lost to Representative Christian Menifee in a member versus member primary race brought on by redistricting. In Dallas, Representative Julie Johnson lost renomination to former Representative Colin Allred, the man whom she succeeded in Congress. Allred left the House to make a failed Senate bid. Now turning to the number 2 story this morning, we've got some defense news. Leading House defense hawks' newly released $1.14 trillion military policy bill shows where top lawmakers are planning to draw the battle lines over the Pentagon's FY 2027 budget request. The draft NDAA, known as the Chairman's Mark, seeks to reassert Congress's place in military force posture decisions and buck the Pentagon's approach to priority programs, all while tacitly endorsing President Donald Trump's reconciliation gambit. The House Armed Services Committee is set to hold its marathon markup of the NDAA on June 4th. While members are out on recess this week, their 505-page draft bill does a lot of the talking. Here's what we learned. First, top lawmakers are still upset about the U.S. personnel moves in Europe. The NDAA draft would add further guardrails to curb additional withdrawals of American troops from Europe. This comes in the wake of a bipartisan uproar over the Pentagon's now scuttled plans to cancel an army deployment to Poland. Second, they're letting the White House fully assume reconciliation risks. The NDAA text would authorize approximately $1.14 trillion in base defense spending, in line with the Trump administration's request. Third, defense hawks have concerns about the development of the Trump-class battleship. Fourth, the hawks are skeptical about DoD pursuing more private equity stakes. And finally, the defense hawks are overriding parts of the Pentagon's final procurement plans. You can read all about it in detail in this morning's newsletter. And let's hit up the number 3 story of the morning. Max Cohen is in Iowa this week covering the campaign trail in the Hawkeye state. This morning, he reports that Democrats are trying to tie Iowa Republicans to President Donald Trump, betting that the president's sagging approval ratings will doom the GOP this fall. But Republicans say running alongside Trump, who won Iowa by 13 points in 2024, suits them just fine. And looking at what happened in Texas last night, that doesn't seem like a bad move if they're trying to win their primaries. At a Tuesday evening rally in the eastern part of the state, Republican Representatives Ashley Hinson and Marionette Miller Meeks both proudly hailed their alliances with Trump. Hinson is running for the state's open Senate seat, while Miller Meeks is seeking a 4th term in the toss-up 1st District. For Miller Meeks in particular, tying herself to Trump may be a savvy strategy. Last cycle, Miller Meeks survived a surprisingly spirited right-wing primary challenge from David Pouch, who got 44% of the vote. This year, Pouch is running again, but Trump endorsed Miller Meeks early in the cycle. We'll continue to keep an eye on Iowa's primary races and primary races across the country. Primary day for Iowa, though, is June 2nd. And that's going to do it for us today. Thank you for listening. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching. If you're not subscribed to the Punchbowl News' AM newsletter, you're missing out. Go on to punchbowl.news and sign up today. We will be back tomorrow morning, but in the meantime, have a great day and stay safe.